Welcome to the $1 Million Multi-Op Podcast. Here, you're going to find education, entertainment, and a little inspiration on how to get to the next level. Are you a DJ company owner that's looking for the secret sauce? Congrats, you found it.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the $1 Million Multi-Op Podcast. I'm your host, David Osborne with BlueprintLearn.com. Guys, on the podcast today, we have, I have so many conversations with people that are like, who do you know in the industry? And this guy's name comes up pretty much every single time. Probably the most prolific content creator in our industry, the one and only Joe Bunn. Welcome to the show, Joe.
Hello, everyone. A huge studio audience here. It's massive. It's Monday morning. They're going wild.
We keep them on payroll for moments like this. We were talking pre-show a little bit, what I think the industry has embraced from Joe over the years. And kind of my introduction to Joe back in the Mobile Beat days was your expertise in the marketing and branding space. Mm-hmm. And that's got you a lot to where you are. And we have a lot of mutual friends in that space. But what I really want to dive into today is the fact that you've got a bunch of locations nationwide.
Right.
And you have like a bunch of things that you're involved in. And how do you do that? How do you kind of have time to do that? And how do you actually make all that work?
Yeah. All relevant questions and things that I'm asked often. I think, we'll start from the beginning, right? Or we'll start from the location factor. And I think, so we have 6 offices in 5 states. It would be here where I am, Raleigh, Richmond, Virginia, Charleston, South Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina, and then San Diego, California, and then Bozeman, Montana. And as much as I'm gonna take the sexy out of it real quick, because it's not as sexy as it sounds, because it's more, you have to look at it more from like a franchise standpoint than you do a Joe Bunn owns 6 offices. So, it started with David Fox down in Charleston, like working here and approaching me and saying, hey man, I would like to have my own office, and it's like, okay, well, anywhere but here. And at the time he was young, man. He was probably under 30, not married yet, no kids yet. So he could go anywhere he wanted, right? And I was like, dude, listen, man, Charleston is it. Like, it is the number one. It's one of my favorite cities in the world, and it is flooded with weddings. And it doesn't matter if it's Monday or Saturday.
Flooded.
And so he was like, cool, Charleston. And we started doing the research, and there was nobody there. They were still on the cover band market heavy. And I was just like, dude, this is going to be a massacre. And it was. I bet, in fact, I know Charleston does more volume and more money than we do now. But the thing about these offices is these 5 people own these offices. They just bought like the naming rights, if you will. So I got a decent amount of money up front. I get a small percentage of their gross income, and small meaning like 4%. So it's not, as sexy as you think. And it's not as, I guess at the end of the day, it's not time consuming for me at all, because the Raleigh office is basically my baby, right? And we'll talk about how Randy kind of plays into that. And then these offices are theirs. So if they want to go put an ad in a magazine, they go pay $2,000 or $3,000. If they want, premiere listing on the Knot, then they pay for that. If they want to go do a wedding show at the so-and-so wedding venue, they pay for that. And then they mostly reap the benefits of the money. I gave these offices away because I knew, especially at the time that this kind of started, and this has been a while since they've all been operating, that I couldn't be in two places at once. I couldn't have made them successful. It has to have a David Osborne there, a Joe Bunn there, a Brandon Alley, a David Fox. The people that are there have to be there. They have to go to the NACE meetings. They have to network with the other wedding vendors. And you know, Charleston's 4 hours, Charlotte's 2.5, Richmond's 2.5. I was like, and at that time, that was when my kids were really kind of in the, let's call it, 8, 9, 10, 11 years old. I was just like, man, there's no way that I'm going to go drive to these different markets. And then especially these ones that started out on the West Coast, like you can't be but so many places at once. And so anyway, that's how they started. That's how they're run. I think at the end of the day, it's not a money play. I'm most proud of the fact that these 5 other people now are able to do this full time, and I felt like I gave them that kickstart, that like shortcut. Don't do this. No, do not spend your money on that. Hold on. Yes, you need to do that. You need to go to that. No, you don't need that. Sorry, these little notifications are going off. So anyway, that's how that started. You know what I mean?
So yeah, so I've got 2 questions here. So first one's about David Fox, and the second one's going to be about, I guess, brand consistency in that franchise model. But first, David Fox. Okay, because every one of us that has a multi-op, when you're recruiting, when you're bringing people on, you're bringing on entertainers. You're bringing on people that have the skill set to rock parties and make people happy. And that doesn't mean that you're a good manager. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean that you're a good business owner. Doesn't mean that you're all these things. So when David approached you, did you see something in him, or did that really have to be cultivated over time with a lot of guidance from you?
All the people that approached me, I guess I should have said that from the beginning. This was never advertised. This wasn't in the back of Entrepreneur Magazine. Own a Bunn DJ company franchise or whatever. Every single one of these people, other than my sister, worked for me in this office at some point. So I already knew they knew how to play. I already knew that they knew who to hire, how we ran things, what our marketing should look like, what our branding should look like. So it wasn't very difficult to turn the reins over to them. And again, they all pretty much approached me, hyper ambitious, hungry, young, like sub 30 years old, had a little bit of money to fund it, to get it going, or either we're borrowing money from family members. Like it all just kind of added up. And then over the years, I've had 50 people go, hey man, you should open an office here. You should open an office here. And I'm like, that's not really how it worked. You know what I mean? Yeah. We haven't opened an office in forever because it's just not what I want to do. If I had one of my DJs now out of these 20, 25 guys that work here in Raleigh come to me and go, hey man, I'm thinking about moving to Indiana, and I want to, take the Bunn DJ company name there, I would be all about it because they've been here, they get it, they just know how it runs, and it's very little work for me to get them going in another market.
That makes a lot of sense because when you're grooming your DJs at Bunn in Raleigh, I say this all the time, right? DJing is an unsupervised job. You're not there at their shows. So when you're building that trust out with them, you're in essence saying, hey, I want my Saturdays to be about my own show or my family or going to the beach or whatever it might be, because I trust you to be unsupervised. Yeah. That's kind of what I'm hearing you say is that with this franchise model, it is really about, I want you to kind of be a little bit unsupervised, right? Like I'm going to turn you loose with the right tools, the right vision, the right branding. And then it's really up to you because you get it.
Yeah. At that point, you have to sink or swim. And there's no doubt there are different offices that have varying levels of success. And it's all based on how hard are you going to hustle? How much money are you going to put into this? How hard are you going to try and recruit and get DJs? Who are you competing against, right? Charleston was a takeover. Charlotte's a lot tougher, right? Well, I mean, there's massive multi-ops there. Friends of mine, people I mean, Vinny that plays in stadium for the Panthers, has a huge company there. A lot of people want to work for him. Great company. You know what I mean? Like, So Brandon there at that office has a lot harder time than David in Charleston. And also, Charlotte's not a destination location, right? It's like Raleigh. We pretty much work Friday, Saturday, Sunday, unless it's maybe a corporate in the middle of the week or something. Charleston, I mean, Fox is doing weddings, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter down there. Yeah. And I mean, from what I remember from years ago, it was the second leading destination wedding location in the country next to Las Vegas.
No way.
That's what years ago it was. Now, I don't know if that stat has changed. So I may be putting out fake information into the atmosphere right now. But
one of our favorite photographers, that the kind of guy that gets out and dances on the dance floor with people. Sure. All of our team loves him. He just moved to Charleston for the same reason. He was doing destination weddings in Charleston on the regular. And he's like, it just makes a lot more sense to
be there.
This is now a local wedding and not a destination anymore.
Right.
Oh man. So you got David in Charleston, and then so Randy. So the story, because at least public facing, I know about Randy from social media, and
sure.
I know you've talked him up so much over the years. Talk about like that move with Randy, because that's your baby. You said it yourself. Being able to have someone that you trust, a right-hand man like that, to be able to take over.
Sure.
Is that a same arrangement there, or different operation there?
It's pretty simple. Again, it's not Randy's role. He's been here probably 22, 24 years. I'm not even sure. I need to go back to the actual hiring date. And of course, I don't have proper records for any of that stuff, but let's say it's probably 24 or 25 years.
Yeah.
When we said, okay, it's not just going to be Joe Bunn running around doing all these parties. We're going to have an actual company. I feel like it was 99. I think I have like incorporation papers from 99. So 25 years. And Randy was definitely staff member 1 or 2. There was another guy named Greg Ramsey that had come here from Wilmington with me, and he kind of was here, a decade plus, until he kind of got hurt and bailed on DJing. But Randy's been here since day one, essentially. And so the DJ's Vault, this educational platform, starts in 2019. I mean, I wouldn't say it blew up, but it took off to the point where, okay, there's 1,000 members that need either my attention, or I need to create content for, or I need to hire people to make content for. I've promised them new stuff every month. I've promised them weekly webinars and so on. So it became, and I got to make ads for it. We were running tons of ads back then. Like, it became time intensive. And I reached out to Randy. I said, hey man, can you just do this admin stuff that is kind of eating up my clock in a day? If there's phone calls, return them. If we have inquiries, log them. Make sure everything's right on DJ Event Planner. Make sure all the guys are ready for this weekend, so on and so forth. Even Aaron's just, hey man, can you come by here and ship this stuff out for me? Today I got a stack of stuff by the door. It's got to go out. Hey, look, like, just make me a list, just a 10. What's the hottest 10 songs of the last 2 weeks since I hadn't played? Like, just anything like that. And he is the guy that without questioning it, without needing a bunch of help or guidance, he just gets it done. And the beauty of the model, or of having a person like that, is that he's a DJ first and foremost. And this is his life. Like, this is all he does. Every other DJ I have has another job. I have an electrician. I have a air conditioning guy. I've got a software guy. I've got, they all have another full-time job from day one. I've told them, hey, this is not your full-time job. This is your Disney trip money with your family. This is your wife's pocketbook money. Like, this is not your job. But with Randy, again, never got married, never had kids. This is his life, right? And so I don't have to pay him a lot weekly. And again, I don't even think he's probably got 20 hours in a week, to be honest. He can kind of come and go. He works from his house. He's not here in the office with me. He always gets stuff done, at least Monday through Friday. And then the beauty of it is I can pay him not a lot on the weekly, but all shows he has first dibs on. Every inquiry, even if it's like Wednesday pool party for $500, so he'll usually take that because it's 5 to 8 o'clock on whatever on a Wednesday to open up the pool season or to close down the pool season at some high-end country club, standing in the shade wearing polo and shorts. Why wouldn't he go do it?
Heck yeah.
So he makes up for what he doesn't make from a weekly salary, if you will, with the number of shows that he takes, and makes well into the six figures, which is a lot of money.
It is a lot of money. And I think, and I've seen it too, Ian, who's helping to produce this podcast right now, being a DJ,
yes,
understanding sales so much better than anyone who wasn't a DJ, who can tell stories about DJing, who can help clients understand things, and operationally, it just makes so much more sense. I think that's a great person in a role on a team that gets it.
Yeah.
Randy gets it. And of course, when Randy is in an operational role and he's at all these shows, I think that's great, like a forward facing brand move, because
he is known as well as, if not better than I am now in this market. I would safe to say that, just based on the number of shows he personally plays at least 100 shows a year. Whereas I might do 35, 40, you know what I mean? So just front facing, he does this thing where he gives all the vendors like a Hershey's kiss. He's on another level of like customer service that I can't even compete with. And I'll show up and they'll be like, Joe Bunn's here. Where's my Hershey's kiss? I'm like, bro, I don't have. How do you keep those from melting? It's 1,000 degrees outside. Does he have a little refrigerator in his car? Like, it's so hot here.
Oh my God. How's he?
I don't know. He's doing it through the summer. I honestly don't know, man.
Oh my God. Now, if you told me M&Ms,
nope,
or even peanut M&Ms,
nope.
I believe it.
Nope. An actual Hershey's kiss.
That is impressive. That's its own level up for Randy, just on the back end right there.
I didn't catch wind of it until about a year ago, and I was like, what are you talking about? And they were like, Randy brings us Hershey's Kisses. And I'm like, dude, no, I don't have those. Sorry. I have really cool
switch
gear.
it up at Christmas time and get the little peppermint ones?
Probably with the swirl. I love those.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so in Raleigh, you've got one arrangement. You got David Fox. Then your sister's in Bozeman, and then so basically everyone that's all these different Richmond, Charlotte,
San Diego,
they're all former DJs on your team.
Yes.
So
other than my sister, right?
Other than your sister, who, this means, correct me if I'm wrong, 4% equity owner. You can travel to Bozeman, little trip,
a little write-off.
Go to, is that Yellowstone that's out there?
Yeah, Yellowstone's near there. Yeah, we definitely been out there.
Okay.
Everything out there is gorgeous, man.
Staff retreat in Bozeman?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a write-off.
That sounds like a move.
Yep.
Okay, so being that you're a branding guy, branding is very important to you, the messaging, the look of everything. I would say franchising is probably one of the areas I know the least about, but what I do know about it, like if I was going to open a Chick-fil-A, they give you a kit. Like, here's your brand kit.
That's right.
Here's how we do things. Here's your systems and processes. Now go.
Yes.
Say my pleasure. Do the thing.
Right.
Is that kind of your approach here? You're like, we're starting up an office. Here's your kit. Here's your starter kit.
That's how it definitely started with those people. Everything always started with, I'm going to sit here for 2 or 3 days with you for all day, and I'm going to show you everything right that we do. From logging into DJ Event Planner and booking a show to these are the logos we use, how we use them. This is where we order our polos and hats from. Like, it was just crash course, 2 or 3 days. And then if they need me, obviously I'm a phone call away. If they want me to come to their office and train DJs or talk to their DJs or inspire them or whatever, I'll be glad to come out there. I think that's part of the contract I have with them. I'm very rarely these days called upon by any of them. Every once in a while I'll get a text, hey, have you ever fired a client? I got that text from somebody last week, and I'm like, yeah, a few times a year. Like, we just know that it's going to be bad. and we tried the best to get out of it. There was another one. Somebody texted me last week about a lady paid in full for a wedding October 2025. Now she's called it off. Would you keep the money? And I was like, man, I mean, there's no way you can rebook that date. Like, I would probably give it back just for karma reasons. If it was October this year, probably not. You know what I mean? I probably would say you're cooked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But 2025, yeah.
Are there ever any expectations that you have on a branch doing well, like getting a checkup on, like, let's say you had a branch, you had a franchise, and all of a sudden it's not doing well. They're not serving clients the way you want. Maybe the person who's in charge is going through some stuff in life, and just stuff happens. Do you step in? Do you take regular check-ins on that? How do you kind of just take the temperature of how everything's going?
It's very hands off. Always has been. The only time it needs to be hands on is if a bad review comes through. That's it. And that's super, knock on wood, like hyper rare for Raleigh, for any of them. But they're all combined under the knot or wedding wire or whatever. So it happens. It's happened to us where the other 5 people were like, bro, what did your boy do? And I'm like, man, he messed up, or whatever. The ceremony mics went out, or whatever. He messed up their names, or he was looking at the wrong playlist, or whatever the things are that happen, that will happen if they haven't already happened to you. They've happened to me. If you do this long enough, shit happens, right? And at the end of the day, it's like, I call them up, do the same thing I do with my guys. Hey, like, walk me through this review. Like, what's your take on it? It's usually wildly different from whatever I've heard from the client or whatever they wrote. And then, like always, we start pinging all the people that love us and get them to bury the review. Like, that's always been the policy. But that's the only time where I really need to step in and be like, hey man, like, this is not, it's bad for all 6 of us. Like, what happened here?
Yeah. So branding and marketing. So you're saying, when the brand starts to lose that sheen for a minute, you're stepping in and putting that special touch back on it.
Right.
Okay, cool. Okay. So I want to pivot for a little bit, because you and I have a lot alike in that we run multi-ops and we have stuff. We also do other things in the industry.
Yes.
And what I've found has been really cool over the past couple of years is the way they work together. Like, the way that my involvement in the industry, speaking at conferences, learning and meeting new people, having conversations like this one, like I'm learning from you right now about franchising because of a podcast, right? So, what are some of the ways that you, being an educator in the industry with the Vault, which has been landmark, with DJC, the DJC coaching, Great Hackers, all the different things that you have your hand in,
right?
How have those endeavors that you're spending a lot of time on come back into your multi-op?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it is, I don't know that it necessarily goes that direction. It almost goes the opposite direction. Like, things that happen here almost are the content sources for some of these, seminars or videos. Like, if something went wrong here, or we implemented a document here, I'm going to put it in the DJ's vault, for the members. So it almost feeds backwards. Sometimes, mainly the things I learned for the DJ company, Bunn DJ company, are through personal interactions. Whatever. Me and you have a conversation at MEX, right? Or I'm talking to somebody 10 times bigger. I'm talking to Mike Walter or something, who does probably 10 times more shows than we do. Or I want to know something about production, and I'm talking to, Nate at LaForce, or Glenn, or Glenn, or Ed Petty, like you've had on, like, or I need to know about mitzvahs. So I'm talking to the guys at Explosive, right? It's like, normally it's some person I either know and I'll reach out to, or call Janai and be like, what's the new, CO2 gun for 2024? Like, in Jersey, 4 years ahead of North Carolina, 5 years ahead.
Yeah, maybe 10. Yeah.
Maybe 10. Right. It's just a different world up there. And so it's almost more, I learned from other DJs to help the DJ company more than anything else. But it's normally not consumed like in mass. Like I don't really consume content. I only make it.
But I think you said it a little bit indirectly, though. Those relationships that you have with
1,000%.
a Jen I or a Brian B who now lives in your town, right? And I think that's part of a relationship, or like the connections that you have with Nate and Glenn, and those are from your, I would call it like indirect success in the industry. If you speak at, like, for example, okay, I've known Rich Cranston for a while.
Sure.
And we both spoke at MEX this past year. Yeah. And the hour that you're hanging out at Soundcheck, I'm able to talk to Rich and like, and then we start to chat it up. And so now I have more of a relationship and like a bridge built with him because I'm speaking, he's speaking. You have a platform, you have a different room that you're in sometimes that allows you to have these connections and these conversations that then funnel back to your multi
with somebody that's wildly successful in a completely different part of the country than you are. They have no reason not to be a completely open book because they're never going to compete with you. So why wouldn't each of you just share everything that you know in that hour? You know what I mean?
And there are so many smart people in our industry, and a lot of them you don't even know about.
Yeah, a lot smarter than me.
They're just these uncovered, some brilliant folks in our industry that the conversations. And I guess my point here for the podcast is that when you're the next time you're at Midwest or Marquee or DJ X or whatever it might be, giving people the opportunity to chat it up with you and talk to them and give them some value. You never know, 5 years from now, you might be in Soundcheck with that person speaking at MEX, and that relationship that you seed is those things that are going to fuel you, help you grow, help your multi-op grow, and kind of give you that platform. I think I still have one of your DVDs floating around somewhere. I saw one.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but the thing about it is, though, I don't even think you have to be on that speaking level or that influencer level to approach somebody. Like if I want people to, I would welcome somebody to walk up to me in the hall and ask me about marketing or why it's so important to go to a NACE meeting, the second Tuesday of every month, and why I feel like I need to be there. Like, just come up to me and talk to me, that you don't have to be somebody that's on the bill, if you will, at these conferences. Like, if you see me in the hall, just stop me. And if you have a question, I'll answer it.
That openness in that conversation in the hallway is what allows that next conversation offline, make it easier to connect, and generate that thing. It's kind of like saying, we're all here to help. We're all here to serve. And everyone's got value to add, which is great.
For sure.
So, and then kind of to bring things full circle back, when we were talking about franchising before I forget to talk about it, a great book that talks about business called The E-Myth, Revisited. If you can run your business like it's a franchise, you're going to be in a good spot. You don't ever even have to franchise it. But if you like it like it's ever going to be franchised, that's the healthiest way to run things.
That makes sense.
I think that's super cool. And I what I learned today is I didn't know that you ran your franchises like that. I think that's a healthy way for you to be able to have the bandwidth just as a human to not go crazy.
Yeah, I can't do it all. Right. You can't do it all.
No, you can't do it all. You have to do as much as you can. And then hopefully that stacks up with your life priorities. And
it's just delegation. I mean, the Randy thing is part of it. These people running their own offices is part of it. Having a virtual assistant in the Philippines to, turn around videos or to crank out a flyer real quick is part of it. I mean, it's there's only one person sitting in this office, right? And it was that way for many, many, many years. But eventually, when things start to add up, the vault, crate hackers, Bunn gear, blah 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 blah, you cannot do it all. It's not healthy. It's not. Something's going to suffer. Whether it's your mental health, your family relationships, your bottom line, your revenue, like something is going to fall apart because you just can't do it all. And the sooner you figure that out and you delegate and you hire other DJs to work for you, or you hire other people to work for you, your life becomes a lot easier. And you can go to the beach on the weekend and do 15 shows and never even play and never get one text, phone call, message, nothing. And that is the freaking American dream, dude.
Boom. Boom.
There it is.
I love it. Joe, that's a great way to end our time together. Guys, Joe, I don't think you really need to share how to find you, but share how to find you anyways.
Yeah. I think the most entertaining Instagram is at Joe Bunn. If you just want to ping me there, I'll always answer your questions, always respond to you. That's probably the easiest way to message me. And, always here to help. Always here to help.
Love it. Guys, as always, there's free resources at blueprintlearn.com/resources. And we'll see you on the next one.